The shorthanded and scuffling Toronto Blue Jays offense kept fighting and fighting against the Tampa Bay Rays, progressively improving over the course of the series until they finally broke through in a massive way with Dalton Varsho's walk-off grand slam to salvage a win and avoid being swept in the final game of the series on Wednesday. Let's get into the latest trends around the team and what direction they're going as they head into a weekend series against the Detroit Tigers. This is your Blue Jays breakdown. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Ian Finlayson. So even though the Jays averaged over 5 runs in the series against the Tampa Bay Rays, the offense has been well below what's been expected over the first, quarter and change of the season. 93 WRC plus, below league average. And it only really makes sense to start with talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s struggles at the plate. Over his last 13 games, this little slump he's been in, it's a 128 batting average, 236 on base percentage, and a 128 slugging percentage. Notice it's same as the batting average, and that's because he doesn't have an extra base hit in this span. The last one came 15 games ago on April 28th. It's been 6 singles and 7 walks in 55 plate appearances, a 364 OPS, and a 13 WRC plus. So pretty ugly stuff for Vlad, and we're going to dig into some of the tape and the process that has been behind that, and actually some maybe promising signs that he showed in the last game of the Rays series. It did not start off promising, though. Vlad whiffing on a pitch, up and in from Drew Rasmussen there, sinker, and it's right on the edge. Maybe that's a pitch that he can handle, but first pitch, the Blue Jays have this philosophy, right? They'd rather go 0-1 rather than 0 for 1. And that's kind of, going directly against that there. Then another pitch, same spot, further up and in, outside of the zone. And Vlad chases it. Second pitch pops it up. This is in that first game of the series. Later in the 6th, also against Rasmussen, Vlad chases a pitch above the zone. First pitch, again, giving up count leverage. Later in the at-bat, gets a fastball to hit 2-2. And he pulls off it and beats it into the ground. Vlad has the lowest attack angle of any qualified hitter in baseball this season, of 1 degree. It was similar to last season when he also, had stretches where he did well, but not great results. First pitch there against Rasmussen again. We see him, wave at a pitch on the corner. Then he chases a changeup outside. Again, that first pitch, maybe it's something he can handle, but ideally, he's probably laying off and waiting for something that he can really square up and get the barrel on. And then again, last pitch, chase out of the zone. Vlad showed a little bit better process in this at-bat against Kevin Kelly in the bottom of the 7th inning with a runner in scoring position. He took a couple close pitches like that one, let the ball travel and get a little bit deeper. His chase rate has been close to a career high, though. It's over 30%, which is above league average. Last season, he was at 23%. Here, he gets a pitch in the zone. Even though he's not chasing, he still beats it into the ground. He has one of the lowest launch angles in MLB. And while the Rays committed an error and the Jays scored there, it wasn't great process. Even though the takes were good, a weakly hit ground ball isn't going to get you a hit most of the time. And then here we see first pitch. This is the 3rd game of the series. Vlad again. Ground ball out on a pitch on the edge, first pitch into a double play, just not ideal stuff. But from there on, things actually started looking up for Vlad. In a later plate appearance against converted Rays starter Griffin Jax, he takes a 4-pitch walk, not chasing 1 pitch out of the zone. Improvement. Then later in the bottom of the 8th inning against Rays closer, well known to Blue Jays fans as an antagonist, Brian Baker. We see Vlad with some more quality takes, also fouling off some tough 2-strike pitches to stay in the plate appearance, and he ultimately emphatically takes the walk. Then Vlad walks for the 3rd time in the game, on 4 pitches against Rays reliever Aaron Brooks in extra innings, ultimately setting up that thrilling Dalton Varsho grand slam. Well, Vlad needs to start making better contact as well. Him taking more pitches, not chasing as much, and waiting for them to come to him is a step in the right direction as far as setting himself up for success to start driving the baseball. Also, just wanted to highlight this great play from Game 1 where Vlad nails Taylor Walls at the plate. Fantastic throw from him. Really tremendous tag by Brandon Valenzuela, as we'll see on the replay here. This is such a tough play to make. You got to be so poised and just at an even tempo. We spent a lot of this kind of ragging on Vlad's shortcomings as of late, so good to see him make a great defensive play. Valenzuela lets the ball get deep there. Just a fantastic defensive play on both ends there. I don't really like to speculate on this too much, but with the Jays missing the thump in the lineup that they are, guys like Addison Barger, Alejandro Kirk, it's understandable that there's less protection for Vlad in the lineup there. Teams are going to pitch around him a little bit more, given how he's been going, how the offense has been going. Seeing that chase rate where it is, maybe it is a bit understandable that he's pressing a little bit. Of course, that's speculation, but very well could be the case given the circumstances and the data that we're looking at there. Now I want to highlight Dylan Cease a little bit, a bright spot on the team, just to change up the pace a little bit here to something a little bit more positive. He's been absolutely spectacular for the Blue Jays so far, both in his execution and his just disgusting stuff, but also in how he's really been adaptable. And started to make some changes to what was already a successful formula for him. So let's delve into that a little bit. Specifically, what we're going to take a look at here is Cease's use of the front hip sinker to freeze batters. So you see that pitch looking like it's just bearing in on Jonathan Aranda there, but it tails off arm side and catches that inside corner of the zone. That is an incredible pitch. Here, Richie Palacios, boom, bottom corner, 99, that's absolute filth from Cease. And here against Hunter Fiducia, same thing, freezes him for strike 3. That is not a pitch that Cease used a lot previously in his career. He's been introducing it more of late. He only threw the sinker 4% of the time last season. This season, that's up to 9% of the time. And just look at the movement on that. That's a really hard pitch to do anything with. And it might seem like 4% to 9% is not a huge jump, but hey, that's double the amount. So, from throwing 4 sinkers to 9 sinkers a game, he threw 16 in this game against the Rays. It's been a really notable rise in the usage of that pitch. He used to be seen as kind of just a 2-pitch, 4-seam fastball slider guy. We've seen him introduce a changeup successfully. The usage of his 2 primary pitches has gone down, and here we even see him using it to get ahead instead of just as a strikeout pitch. Now we're going to pivot to Kazuma Okamoto and his improved ability to handle breaking balls. At the start of the season, he was seeing a lot of heat as fastball velocity is lower in Japan, and teams wanted him to prove he could catch up to that. He very quickly showed he was able to in the initial stage of the season, and then since he kind of got peppered by breaking balls and really struggled against them for a couple weeks. We saw him take a couple there though, and again here we see him laying off a breaking ball low in the zone that he probably would have waved at a couple of weeks ago when he was a bit less accustomed to major league level spin. And then again, we're going to see in this at bat by Okamoto here. He gets down 1-2 rather here in the count. And then Rasmussen is going to throw him a breaking ball, but he's going to wait back and handle that pitch away from him. He likes the ball in. He is a guy who likes to pull the ball in the air, that kind of Isaac Paredes profile. But there he manages to handle the breaking ball and stay on it. And he kind of knows what to expect in that situation now in the majors as he continues to adjust, which he's been really impressive at doing. And I do want to just put Okamoto's numbers against breaking balls up on the screen here. in April versus in the month of May, just to give an idea of what a significant improvement he's made. Huge strikeout rates and whiff rates against breaking balls. In April on the top there, 33.3%. That's like, more like 10% above the league average strikeout rate roughly. Huge whiff numbers, low batting average, only a 290 slug starting with a .97 ISO. You're seeing them 26.4% of the time, so seeing a pretty healthy diet of breaking balls, especially after he adjusted to seeing fastballs early. And then you look in May, he's only seeing breaking balls 9.6% of the time, and that's because he's been handling them much better. That strikeout rate, 18.8%, cut nearly in half. The whiff rate is down, and the slugging up to over 800 from 290. So a massive turnaround on how he's been able to handle breaking balls of late. He's really adjusted to the league as they've adjusted to him very quickly. So just being able to do that and showing that he has that ability to adjust his approach on the fly to how the league is pitching him is a hugely promising sign from Okamoto going forward. And I mean, Okamoto's really been the Blue Jays' best hitter so far this season. OPS under 800, so still, not the best if that's the best hitter on your team, but 10 home runs, really promising, numbers right now that we're seeing from Okamoto, and a lot of hope for him going forward in the future on this Blue Jays team is an important piece. Obviously, ideally, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with the talent he has, George Springer, Addison Barger, maybe some of these guys can step up and really start providing some impact. So before we finish up the video today, there's one more player that I wanted to highlight from this past series who's really stood out of late for the Jays, and that's Brandon Valenzuela, a rookie catcher called up due to Alejandro Kirk, missing a significant time here. Was probably going to end up being a couple of months with a thumb fracture. And Valenzuela has been really great. He has 4 home runs. He hits the ball really hard. And he had the hardest max exit velocity for a Jays catcher in the StatCast era. And here what we're going to see from him is actually him working a really great plate appearance. He works it all the way to a 3-2 count. And he's just going to keep fouling off pitches and ultimately put up a 9-pitch plate appearance against Rays starter Drew Rasmussen, just continuously spoiling pitches here, really showing a lot of fight, which isn't something he's necessarily known for. He ultimately flies out in the at-bat, but that's still a great at-bat. He saw a lot of pitches, he tired out the opposing pitcher, which was one of the hallmarks of the Blue Jays' success in 2025. All told, Valenzuela saw 51 pitches across 8 at-bats in this series, which is almost 6.4 pitches per plate appearance, which is unheard of. Kazuma Okamoto leads the Jays right now among qualified hitters, and he's averaging 4.3 pitches per plate appearance. So, tremendous job by Valenzuela here. Again, a guy who's known to whiff a lot, really hanging in there, making things tough on opposing pitchers. And showing some real grit and grind in his at-bats here. Here it's the 9th inning. He challenges a pitch that's inside off the plate and wins it. Leverage spot, tie game late. Right spot to use a challenge. He's successful in it. Valenzuela just showing a lot of things that the Blue Jays are going to like a whole lot. Being able to battle like this. Again, results of flyout, that's still a quality plate appearance. Valenzuela ultimately saw 10 pitches in that at-bat. There was the 9-pitch one. He also took 8-pitch walks in Game 1, and then also in Game 2 as part of that 5-run rally in the bottom of the 7th inning. So just a ton to like from Valenzuela. Obviously, a guy that can put the ball in the seats, can hit it hard, hits it in the air a lot, more often than he hits it on the ground. Defensively, he's been super impressive. He has, it's a 1.9 pop time, which is, I believe, high end, well above league average. He's thrown out almost 32% of the runners that have gone on him this season, which is, again, well above the major league average of 23%. Very strong throwing arm. He's actually at +6 defensive run value per Statcast right now, which is tied for sixth in MLB. He's tied with Patrick Bailey as the top catcher in run value, who won the National League Gold Glove last year and is pretty much the best defensive catcher in the game. The only one that could maybe hold a candle to him is Alejandro Kirk. So Brandon Valenzuela, tremendously impressive start to his rookie campaign after he was acquired at the trade deadline last year from the San Diego Padres for Will Wagner. Definitely a kind of under the radar trade that so far is panning out really well for the Blue Jays. So those are kind of the silver linings, the rays of hope, if you will, from that Tampa Bay Rays series. They're now 1-5 against their division opponent, though. So pretty far from ideal for the Blue Jays there. They will be fighting uphill, if they want to get back into it this season. Currently 5 games below 500 and looking up in a very competitive American League East, even if it's been kind of muddy so far. The other kind of notable moments from this past series, I would say Andres Jimenez, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, drove in all 5 of the Jays' runs in the first game. He's been among the best hitters on the Blue Jays so far this year, which is great for Andres. Probably not so great for the Jays if he's one of your top guys going, but still great to see him continue, his usual hot April production into May. Also, Yariel Rodriguez made his return after starting the year in the minor leagues. He pitched 1 inning also in that game on Monday. He had 2 strikeouts and 1 walk, if I believe correctly, and the stuff looked great. The stuff looked nasty. Fastball was, 96, 97. He was spotting it. Slider had a ton of break. He's been using the slider a lot more lately. I think it was in and around 10% last year, and it's so far in the minors this season, it's been up around 30%. So that's something he's really worked on. So if he can be another, potential, useful arm in the bullpen for the Jays, a guy that they, he saw leverage last season, if he can work himself back into a spot like that this year, that would be huge for them. So the Jays not in a great spot right now. Hopefully some reinforcements, some positive performance trending forward can put them in a spot where they're back in the mix in the American League, and that can start this weekend against the Tigers. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Blue Jays Breakdowns. Only the second one. I know I came out with one preseason, and there hasn't been anything out. But on a personal note, I've just been busy with basketball coverage. I've been doing Raptors stuff, kind of wrapping up the season there. I've also been covering the Toronto Tempo for anyone interested in that. So yeah, just haven't had the time of late. Gonna try to make this a regular thing going forward. So stay tuned for more if you're interested. Appreciate anyone who spent the time watching today. Hope you all have a nice rest of your day and take it easy.